They tell you to forget your dreams the second you wake up. Shake it off. It was just static, just your brain cleaning out the day before. And for years, you believed that. But what if the thing you keep wiping away every morning is the one place God has been speaking to you the loudest? What if you've been hitting mute on heaven every single night without even knowing it? You wake up, you feel that strange weight still sitting in your chest, your heart still racing a little even though nothing actually happened. And you just move on. You make coffee, you check your phone, you let it go like it didn't mean anything at all. But it did mean something, and if you keep ignoring it, you could be sleeping through the exact instructions you've been begging God for in your prayers. So today, I'm going to walk you through 7 dreams you cannot afford to dismiss anymore and what each one is actually trying to tell you. Let's start with the one almost everyone has had. Falling. You're standing somewhere high, or maybe nowhere at all, just floating, and then suddenly the ground disappears. Your stomach drops. You're falling, and right before you hit, you wake up. Heart pounding, sheets soaked. I remember a season in my life where I had that dream 4 nights in a row. I didn't think much of it at the time. I was busy. I was tired. I figured it was stress. But looking back now, I see it so clearly. Everything in my life was about to fall apart. My job, a relationship I thought was solid, even my sense of who I was, and I never once asked God what he was trying to show me before it happened. Here's what I wish I had known. Psalm 37 says, "Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him with his hand." The falling in your dream isn't the punishment, it's the warning before the landing. God is showing you the fall before you've lived it, so you have time to grab his hand on the way down. So ask yourself something honest right now. What in your life feels like it's slipping out of your hands lately? Don't brush past that question. Sit with it for a second. But falling isn't the only warning dream you've been sleeping through. There's another one that catches people completely off guard. Being chased. You're running. You don't know exactly what's behind you or who. You just know you can't stop, and your legs feel heavy like they're moving through wet sand. You wake up breathless. Sometimes you don't even remember falling asleep again after that one. I once knew a woman in our church, quiet, faithful, always early to service, who told me she'd had that chase dream almost every night for nearly 2 months. Same feeling every time. Something behind her, never catching her but never leaving either. She finally admitted to me what she'd been avoiding the entire time. A conversation. One she knew God had been nudging her toward for weeks. A friendship that had turned toxic, and she didn't know how to walk away from it. The moment she finally faced it, had the hard conversation, set the boundary, the dreams stopped completely. Deuteronomy 28 says the Lord will cause your enemies to flee before you 7 ways. Not the other way around. You were never built to run. So when you're the one running in your sleep, it's worth asking what that dream is actually exposing. Maybe it's not an enemy outside of you at all. Maybe it's something inside of you that you've been avoiding facing in the daylight. So who or what are you still running from instead of just turning around and facing it? And if running shows up in your sleep, so does something even harder to sit with, drowning. You're underwater. You're trying to swim up, but your arms feel like they're made of stone. You can't get a breath. Everything above you looks so far away, like it's on the other side of glass. And right when your chest feels like it's about to give out, you wake up gasping like you actually forgot how to breathe for a second. I went through a season like that myself, not in the water, in my life. I was working 2 jobs, barely sleeping, trying to hold together a marriage that was cracking and a ministry that felt like it was draining more than it was giving. And every single night, for almost 3 weeks straight, I had the same drowning dream. I never told anyone, I just thought I was tired. But I wasn't tired. I was sinking, and my body knew it before my mind would admit it. Psalm 69 says it plainer than I ever could. I sink in deep mire, where there is no standing. I am come into deep waters where the floods overflow me. That's not poetic language to David. That's a man telling God exactly how overwhelmed he actually was. And here's the thing, naming it is the beginning of getting out of it. You can't ask God to pull you out of water you won't even admit you're standing in. So be honest with yourself for a second. What's the thing right now that feels like it's pulling you under? Don't minimize it. Don't tell yourself it's not that bad. Name it. And here's the next one, and almost everyone laughs it off without realizing what it might actually mean. Teeth falling out. You're talking, or smiling, or just touching your mouth, and suddenly your teeth are loose. They're falling into your hand, one after another, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's unsettling in a way that's hard to explain to someone who hasn't had it. There was a young man in a small group I led a few years back, sharp, articulate, the kind of guy who could hold a room. He told me he'd had that dream 3 times in 1 month. Around that same time, he was in a friendship that had quietly turned one-sided and unhealthy. He knew it. He felt it every time they hung out, but he kept staying silent, kept smiling through it, kept swallowing what he actually wanted to say because he was afraid of the conflict. The dream kept coming back until the week he finally sat his friend down and told him the truth. Proverbs 18 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Your voice is not a small thing. So when your dream is attacking your ability to speak, when your teeth, the very thing you use to talk, are falling apart, it might be God highlighting exactly where you've gone silent when you needed to speak the most. So where have you stopped using your voice when you needed it most? In a friendship, in your marriage, in your own head even. But not every dream is a warning. Some of them are an invitation. Right now, I want you to do something with me before we keep going. If anything in the last few minutes felt like it landed on you, like it was a little too accurate, hit subscribe and join the people in this community who actually want to walk with discernment instead of just scrolling past warnings like this one. And in the comments, I want you to write this exact declaration: Lord, open my eyes to what you are saying to me, even in my sleep. Don't just think it. Type it. Let it be a record of you choosing to pay attention. Now let's get into the dream that almost nobody admits being afraid of. Flying. You're off the ground. No effort, no struggle, just lifted. The wind is moving past you, and for once your chest isn't tight. You're not afraid. You're free. And when you wake up from that one, there's this strange ache, because some part of you wishes you hadn't. I had that dream during the hardest financial season I've ever walked through. Bills stacking up. A bank account that made me want to avoid checking my phone. And right in the middle of all that pressure, I had this dream where I was flying low over a field, completely weightless, completely at peace. I woke up confused, honestly, because nothing in my actual life matched how light I felt in that dream. But 6 weeks later, the breakthrough I'd been praying for finally came, and I went back and remembered that dream and realized God showed me the weightlessness before my circumstances ever changed. Isaiah 40 says, "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles." That flying dream might not be random escapism. It might be God letting you feel the breakthrough in your spirit before it ever shows up in your bank account, your relationship, your health. What would it actually feel like to believe your breakthrough is already in motion, even while everything around you still looks the same? And then there's the dream almost everyone is afraid to admit they've had. Seeing someone who already passed away. There was a woman in our church, a widow, who came to me almost embarrassed to even bring it up. She'd dreamed of her husband, sitting calmly in their old kitchen, just smiling at her, not saying much at all. No drama, no fear, just peace radiating off of him in a way she hadn't seen since before he got sick. She said it didn't feel scary, felt like being hugged. And after that dream, something in her grieving shifted. She told me later it was the first night in over a year she actually slept through till morning. Paul writes to the Thessalonians that we sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. That's not God promising you every detail will be explained. It's God offering you peace where there was only an open wound. If someone you lost ever appeared calm and at rest in your dream, it might not be your mind playing tricks. It might be God settling something in you that words never could. And last, the dream that might be the most important one on this entire list. Being called by name, no vision, no symbol, just a voice, clear, unmistakable, calling your name. And it jolts you straight out of sleep, heart pounding, looking around a dark room that's completely empty. I had that exact dream during a season where, I'll be honest with you, I was drifting, going through the motions, praying out of habit, not hunger. And one night, I heard my name called so clearly I sat straight up in bed and actually said yes out loud before I even realized what I was doing. Nobody was there. But I have never forgotten that moment, because it was the turning point that brought me back to actually pursuing God instead of just performing for Him. 1 Samuel tells the story of a boy hearing his name called in the night, Samuel, Samuel, and not recognizing at first that it was God. God still calls people by name today. A dream like that is not random, it's recognition. So if you heard your name called tonight, in the middle of the dark, would you actually answer, or would you roll over and go back to sleep like nothing happened? They told you to forget your dreams the second you woke up. Shake it off. Just static. But you're not going to do that anymore, are you? Because what if the thing you almost wiped away this morning was God, trying to reach you in the one place your guard was finally down? You are not someone God ignores while you sleep. You are someone He is still speaking to, even now, even in the dark, even when you don't have the words to explain what you felt when you woke up. So before you go, I want you to write one more declaration in the comments, different from the first one. Write this: I declare I will not sleep through what God is trying to show me. And if anything in this video named something you felt but never had words for, send it to someone you know who's been having strange dreams and brushing them off without ever asking why. You might be the reason they finally pay attention. Because some people are sleepwalking through the exact answer they've been praying for.